Okay, so this next beer I'm really excited to try. I picked this up about nearly 2 months ago, and I've just left it on the shelf waiting for the perfect moment to open it, really. And just last Saturday I was looking at a live stream on Bjorfest, and they had Lars Garschel, I think his name is, and a couple of other people chatting away about raw unboiled or no boil beer that's been made without any kind of boiling at all, which is a really interesting way of creating beer. You obviously don't, you run the risk of not killing off bacteria. You run the risk of, if you're just mashing a beer and then bringing it over to the fermenter without doing the boiling at all, you've got the whole point of the mash is to convert some of the starches into fermentable sugars, and the whole point of the boil is to sterilize it and isomerize your hops in there and stop that conversion process as well. So if you skip the boil phase, you're actually moving on without having done some of the things that you're supposed to with a beer, which makes this a really bold and brave beer to be brewing, or not brewing, as the thing is. It's called Stick the Kettle On. It is, of course, brewed by Otterbank in Muff in Donegal. That's just the sort of beer that Declan would go ahead and brew. He's got a huge fascination with all different styles of beer and bold, adventurous kind of beers that he makes up there. This one is 5%. It's in a 330ml bottle. It actually says, and I love this when breweries put the actual malts and the hops and everything that they put in the beer, that they put it on the label so that you can at least have a chance of understanding what's going on and what to expect. So we've got Pilsner malts, we've got Munich malts, so we're going to get a bit of aromatic, a bit of richness, a bit of sweetness, a bit of depth of flavor, perhaps a bit of toastiness from that Munich malt. We're going to get wheat, so there's going to be an element of breadiness going on in there. Unless, of course, it was raw wheat, and we're talking this has been in the bottle for longer than I think. And it actually even says that below, so let me just see what it says. Hops are citra. It's Otterbank. They're blending. They blend beers. So basically, I don't know what he's done with this one. He might say in a minute, but he basically is. He's got a blendery and a brewery up there, and a lot of aging going on, a lot of slow process to make beers. It's bottle conditioned. There's me spinning the bottle around here, so I'm probably kicking up all the clarity. So excuse me for doing that. It's bottled on the 11th of 2020 and best before the 11th of 21. Okay, so because it's a raw ale, I'm assuming based on those details there that there's an element of, it's kind of... you're missing out some of the sterilization of the beer, let's say. So yeah, you probably want it drunk quite quickly possibly for that reason. I mean, it's so new to me. A traditional raw ale hopped with citra, fermented with brewer's yeast, whichever one it is, it doesn't say. Lactobacillus and Brettanomyces. So no Pediococcus in this one. No boil Brett Pale Ale, 5%. Stick the kettle on. Let's get it in the glass and have a taste. I'm dead excited to have this after listening to that really interesting live stream. The second part of it is on this Saturday. Go log on and register to Bjorfest. Brian over there is doing a super job of getting brewers around the table. But let's see what's going on here. I think I need to be careful pouring this beer. Right, she's a bit lively. And we've got a bit of foam, and we're going to let that settle. But on the nose, just as I brought it up there, there's a whole lot of flavour going on, a huge amount of aroma on the nose. And it's hops and it's also other stuff. So I don't know if that's if I'm getting, I mean, I just can't believe I'm having a raw ale as the first thing. This is crazy because one of the things that was on this live stream, and you might better look it up, Beorfest, B-O-I-R, I think that's right, Fest, F-E-S-T. If you can look up the replay, one of the things they were saying is that, you know, you really have to go to Lithuania and parts of Europe and Scandinavia that are doing these types of beers, and they're more sort of very regional. You have to go to the venue where it is to get these beers and to try them. So obviously this is going to be a slightly different, slightly unique Irish version of a raw ale, and I don't know what similarities it does and doesn't share, but I do know that the smell coming off this beer is absolutely filling this whole area. So let's get into it and see what we've got here. Rocky head, it's absolutely sticking there. It's kind of like a meringue that's doubled in size. You can turn upside down, one of those type things. Look at that, it's not even moving. That's incredible. It's like an iceberg. Absolutely brilliant clarity, nice effervescing carbonation, bubbles popping up there. Keep filling up that foam. Wow. Citra is coming off like huge amounts, and lime, lychee, citrus, kind of like the zesty element of citra. And it's intermingled with Brett, and that's kind of made it even more fruity. It's kind of like in the same way you get biotransformation when you hop something mid-fermentation, it changes the way the hops are when you drink them and you perceive them in the flavor and the taste. In this, you're getting something where, you know, this lactobacillus and this Brettanomyces combined with that huge effervescing sort of carbonation going off, and the citra there, it's all just amalgamating together. It's just absolutely fantastic on the nose. It really is. That's unique. That really is. It's kind of a bit of a perfume going on in there as well. I wish you could smell this. I don't know what I'm smelling. Maybe I'm smelling a bit of Munich in there as well. But definitely Brett. Loads of Brett. Cheers, Slancha. Let's give this one a go. It really dries off of the palate, like instantly dries off of the palate. It's kind of like that candy floss effect where you drink it and it just sort of evaporates away. That I absolutely love. Again, this is, you know, it's a type of beer that is an absolute thirst quencher, bone dry thirst quencher, but still has, in my mouth right now after drinking it, I've just got a nice fruity, spritzy, citrusy, limey thing going on, a bit of tropical, a bit of lychee, a bit of zestiness going on in my mouth. That's absolutely fantastic and very, very dissimilar to a lot of beers that I've tried in Ireland. I have to say, this is a real eye-opener of a beer. Loving the nose, loving that citrus thing combined with the Brett. Really good. Ooh. I mean, what happens with Brett is after the primary fermentation, you know, there is brewer's yeast in here. After the primary fermentation has gone on, Brett is introduced to the beer. I'm guessing that or maybe he's blended this with a Brett beer, or he's added Brett in there somehow, and he's also added lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is going to bring down the pH of the beer, make it slightly sour. There is a nice bit of tartness going on in there, but it's a fruity tartness and a zesty, zingy sort of tartness going on in there. And it's kind of like, it's you know, it's a little bit, I don't want to say muffled and pun it a little bit, but it has that kind of like a Brett thing coming in as well. So you're trying to like pick apart the whole lot. There's a bit of wheat in here that's giving it a little bit of breadiness, but do I taste that? This is just fantastic. This is fantastic. I haven't heard anyone talking about this beer. I don't understand it. This is the type of beer you want to be drinking. Maybe it's because I've kept mine on a shelf and it's had that time to really come together, but I'm absolutely loving that. I could drink bucket loads of that. Really, really bone dry, nice, but has a sort of twinge of sourness and a twinge of bitterness from the citra, and you can pick all these things apart because it's not clouded by the beer underneath of it, but there is a kind of strange sort of maltiness going on in there as well. Obviously that's a bit of the wheat and a bit of Munich on the nose, all that barnyard going on, all that good stuff, you know, sweaty horse, whatever. Goat. I don't know why people say goat. I've never smelled a goat before. Have you ever smelled a goat? I don't think so. So I've smelled a sweaty horse, in fairness now. Yeah, a bit of leather, all that. That is just beautiful, full of flavour, fantastic. I am going to sip and enjoy this, but this one's a little bit special. I'll single this one out. Store cold, drink fresh. I did not store it cold and I did not drink it fresh, and it tastes fantastic. Raw ale. Have you had a raw ale or not? Be interested to know your comments below. Cheers, Sergeant. It's on to the next one, and bye-bye.